in the policy environment, because academia are actually the one educating our consumers, they are educating our producers. So it is very important for them to be aware of circular economy solutions, because they are the one giving on the skills and the education to make sure the producer of tomorrow has circular economy solutions incorporated in their business model or whatever field or industry they are working in, and also that the consumer is aware and is making the right choice when it comes to purchase. One of our entrepreneurs said, their purchase is responsible for what our planet is going to be tomorrow. So it is very important to educate and also build capacities and skills.
So I would say we have to educate the leaders and the consumers of tomorrow. Thank you for that. I temporarily go to David. David, are you here with us? What lessons do you have for countries that we call, developed, but actually if you look at developed countries, it's only 50% of their packaging, for instance, that they can recycle. So developed is between quotes. Please, what's your summary of today?
Well, first of all, let me say how much I've enjoyed hearing from actually all of the entrepreneurs. Some things have really stood out to me. Kieran's model for the informal sector is really important for lots of parts of the world. The entrepreneurial spirit of Crystal, Tom, Martin, and Brian, all of you are unlocking the potential solutions to the issues that we've created for ourselves in the last 50 years or so. And Patrick, back to the future. I think that's a really great message. Go backwards to look to go forwards. We used to have the milk bottles delivered to the house and taken and washed. It's just a habit that we've got out of. So it's really interesting to think about those sort of messages. In terms of your question, Freek, is a great question. We know that at best we're only halfway there. And to improve this, I think we need to ensure that plastic is only used where it's absolutely necessary. And we've seen some examples today of how that can be removed from the market. We don't need it all the time. And that where it is necessary, it's designed to be reused and recycled, and that it is collected and recycled effectively, and that we keep creating markets for where that material can be used so it has a value and goes back into making new items. All of you who've presented today have parts of the answer to those things. Plastic packs in the UK, in Europe and USA and other countries do bring together all the value chain to try and make these changes. So basically connecting to your local plastics packs, I think there's one covering wherever all of you are actually. So I mentioned earlier that we've seen in the UK over 2 billion items that were not recyclable, either removed from the market or converted to something that is recyclable. So it can be done. Together we can scale all of this up. One area we know is a global challenge and hasn't really been mentioned today is flexible plastics. So finding an economically viable solution to reducing the use of these and recycling what does get used will be critical to moving us from 50% to more 70 or 80% that we think is achievable. And in thinking about the link to climate action, plastic initially came to the public's attention a few years ago as a pollution or litter issue. But there's growing recognition, I think, now by the public and policymakers of the link between fossil fuels, plastics and climate change. And that seems to be leading to even greater calls for lifestyle changes and business model changes that eliminate or reduce the amount of plastic in our lives. And that can only be a good thing. And all of you have played an important role in that. So well done.
Thanks, David. What would be your quote after this webinar of today, if you would have one summary for us? I know this is a difficult question.
Yeah. I think the answers are out there. We have incredibly clever people working on those answers and bringing all those people together to join up the effort, collaborate and innovate. I think that's the way forward.
Thank you, David. I have seen that there are a few questions coming from the web chat, and that's questions for Jocelyn and for you, David. And one question is about collaboration in the value chain. We have seen the entrepreneurial spirit, which is very much needed. At the same time, we see that leadership from retailers is crucial. But how do we bring these two together, the factor of trust and collaboration? Can the two of you share some reflections on collaboration in the value chain in different geographical areas? I start with Jocelyn, please.
Yes, collaboration and leadership is very important and should be at the center of a sustainable transition to circular economy. Because, for instance, we have Reader Plastics in Nigeria, a company on the Lagos circular economy business platform, trying to set up, to design a company that is going to recycle used PET bottles into new PET bottles, but yet they cannot find a market for their products. Why? Because the PET bottles from virgin plastic, from virgin material is still cheaper than PET bottles from recycled material produced in Africa. So it is very important that policymakers step in to make sure they bring in some regulations and push these entrepreneurial activities already to ensure that maybe they can incentivize the use of recycled plastic material. That is why they have to work like hand in hand. And also North-South and the South-South collaboration is very important in terms of transfer of technology, because maybe in Lagos, they find it difficult to produce these PET bottles from recycled plastic because they do not have maybe the right infrastructure or maybe the right capacities to do it. Whereas in other parts of the world, they find it a little bit easier to do it. So this is where collaboration is very important, because once we have only one planet, so plastic pollution in Africa does not only impact Africa, but impacts the whole planet. So we have our ocean, everything we communicate, and we have one planet to save. So it is very important that we sit together as a planet and think how to save the planet, and taking a bold step to make sure to drastically reduce plastic pollution will be a giant move in this regard.
Well said, Jocelyn. David, a few marks from you on collaboration. You already made a pledge to plastic packs everywhere in the world. What can we do to make people, entrepreneurs, waste management, government people, and retailers and brands meet?
Yes, so one of the things we've learned is that if you can create that pre-competitive space where businesses, their suppliers, their competitors, their regulators can all come together and know that it's not a question of discussing competitive issues, but of discussing issues which are a problem, a potential challenge to the future sustainability of all of their businesses, and bringing all those heads together to unlock the answer. It's surprisingly powerful seeing a retailer and their suppliers, for example, in a room who've never had an open and frank conversation about the impact of some decisions on other business decisions made by the supply chain, because it's a client-supplier relationship, and often the supplier is afraid to question anything that's given to them as a requirement. But once you break that down and have that open conversation, you can find that the two sides can agree to make a change, has no impact on anybody's costs, has no impact on customer perception, but it saves waste. And those kind of non-competitive or pre-competitive discussions really do unlock an awful lot of solutions across all sorts of different areas that we've worked, certainly on plastic.
And actually, that seems like an easy step which could easily be followed up. Thank you for that, David. Thank you, David. Thank you, Jocelyn. We have come to the end of this webinar. You have been a great expert panel. We have fantastic speakers, truly. We have seen that circular economy is happening everywhere. We have seen it in every part of the value chain. We know that entrepreneurs are showing, let's say, guts, persistence, and they make the difference, but they can't do it alone. We need also the regulator. we need the retailers, we need everybody on board. So let's make climate impact by going circular, and let's use this magic momentum that is present today in the plastic value chain. Let's walk the talk here. I want to thank the Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment for making this event possible. I want to thank also CITRA for allowing us to have this World Circular Economy Forum side event. Great thanks to Holland Circular Hotspot and also Springtide International for the great work you have done here. I want to say to you, dear audience, thank you for your many comments on the web chat. We hope to see you back on Monday for the roundtable where we present the results of 2 webinars today. You have been great. Thank you very much.